Hi there, everybody. It's after midnight here in California. I'm getting over being drunk. Just sobering up now. I've been wanting to do a video about LEGO Dimensions, and it might have been a face-to-camera video, except my fucking brother has my camera in his car and he's been really lazy about getting it back to me. He was supposed to get it back today and did not. He better get it back tomorrow because I'm going off to Marvel Universe Live tomorrow and I want to film that. I'm not even sure they allow people to film, but if they do, I want to film it. So anyway, this is just going to be a voice video. So, LEGO Dimensions. If you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it. The trailer's entertaining and it doesn't cost you a thing. So go watch the trailer. It's really cute. Really funny. This is LEGO's attempted to the now popular Toys to Life video game genre, where you put a figure on, put them all with their vehicles and stuff, insert them into a world, and they go on adventures, and you put more in, and you can get them in, and then you can combine stuff for the worlds to build your own levels. And I gotta weigh in my thoughts. I hesitate to say this genre's exploitive, because with that amount of content, it does seem to be the sort of thing where you are getting what you pay for, because you are getting a lot of extra gameplay. At the same time, I think it's naive. I think these games cater to people who don't realize the content's already on the disc already, and once people learn to hack it, it's gonna be it for it. And I'm not saying I advocate it, but it's gonna happen. And when it does, it's gonna be game over for that sort of game. And then there's another thing, the construction aspect, and the get in more aspects to create more. These sorts of games basically involve the premise of being able to create your own games as their big selling point, but at the same time, you can't do whatever you want until you pay them. So eventually, some enterprising person's gonna come along, do something like Gary's Mod, except with more of a construction element, and probably more anchored in platforming, and again, it's gonna put this genre out of business. Good or bad, it's gonna put this genre out of business. It's the natural evolution of a society that wants as much convenience as possible. So, now, as to LEGO Dimensions, is this the sort of thing we want while we can get it? I'll be perfectly honest, I know I'm sounding really negative. I kinda hate Traveler Tales LEGO games. It's not that I don't think they're ever fun or anything like that, but fun is the basic requirement of a video game in general. If you want a LEGO video game, you need to be more than fun. You need to live up to the spirit of LEGO, and I gotta say, Traveler's Tales games don't do it. LEGO is not about clunky mechanics. It isn't even about gameplay at all, though that's obviously something you need in a video game. It's about being able to create stuff, and the only stuff you create in Traveler's Tales games is stuff that's pre-designed, with pre-designed functions, at pre-designed places. That's not building at all. That's logically the same as collecting money and paying a toll booth. And worse, every Traveler's Tales game is that. Every Traveler's Tales LEGO game is collecting little round pips to pay at specific points to build stuff, and switching from character to character to accomplish objectives in Lost Vikings styles. It's not a bad game design, but it really doesn't have anything to do with LEGO besides being a brand job, and again, it's just so unimaginative. This is the sort of style of play they use for every damned game they do, and even the HUD with like the heart meter is the same shit whether you're playing Lego Star Wars, Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego Harry Potter, etc. Like, and if I haven't played all these games, but the ones I've played have just given me enough to know this is not what Lego games are supposed to be. What Lego games are supposed to be is the stuff where you can build stuff of your own imagination, like Lego Racers and Lego Racers 2. I liked those games, and we should have had more games of that sort, but then Traveler's Tales got the brand, and they started cranking out their unimaginative games. I don't like that. This is the first time in a Traveler's Tales Lego game where I sort of think it has potential. And that's despite everything I said above. Because, for once in a Traveler's Tales Lego game, there is some stress on being creative. Apparently. I don't know how much of it is pretense, but I'm assuming that if they're going to compete with Skylanders, they're going to want you to be able to put the worlds together and make stuff of your own imagination, and that's neat. So, this may be what Traveler's Tales should have done a long time ago. So, and as to the price, well, this has always been an expensive brand. That's one thing I agree with 8-Bit Theater on. I don't agree with it on his video on much else. I agree with that. Lego's always been expensive, so if you had put up with it before, you'd put up with it in a game, I presume, if the game was good. Will it be? I don't know. So I'll briefly talk about the franchises. Random. That's the best I can say. They're random. Some of them are obvious. Batman was a shoo-in. The Lego Movie was a shoo-in. Lord of the Rings, I mean, I'm admittedly pretty unfamiliar with Lord of the Rings. I haven't read the books. I saw Ralph Bakshi's movies. I did not see any of Peter Jackson's movies. I've only seen parts of them. So I really don't know much about Lord of the Rings, and hence I don't know how popular it is. But obviously I knew who Gandalf was in the trailer. So yeah, the three you start with are Batman, Gandalf, and Wildstyle. Not a bad choice of starter characters. But the franchises you get into, besides Batman and the Lego Movie and Lord of the Rings, so random. And I'm not saying this to be critical. I think it's kind of cool. Like, Lego The Wizard of Oz, that's something I can't say I ever anticipated, and it actually made me go right to Lego's website to search for whether there actually is Lego Wizard of Oz in toy form, or there's going to be. I didn't see it. Maybe it's coming in, maybe it's not, but it's got Lego Wizard of Oz in it. Lego Back to the Future. That one sort of does exist in Clouseau form. Somebody made a Lego Back to the Future set with a DeLorean, so that one exists, but it wasn't exactly what I expected to be in there, but I'm glad to have it. What else is there? I'm gonna go to the site right now. Come on, get your drunk ass over. Lego Dimensions. Ninjago. Okay, obvious one. Ninjago is gonna be there. That's another one of those things I don't know a lot about it. I know it exists, I recognize characters by face, I don't know their names. But it's a big franchise, so it was pretty obvious. So we've got the Lego Movie, Back to the Future, DC Comics, Ninjago, Lord of the Rings, and The Wizard of Oz. And there's certainly some good potential for silliness in this game based on that. I like a lot of the prospects of going in with various characters and screwing around, like having Batman go in and punch out the Wicked Witch of the West. That's something I could see myself paying money to see happen. Another thing I sort of like, in theory, the vehicles. A lot of the characters, when they're sold, come with vehicles. The starter pack comes with a Batmobile. So it almost seems like the revival of Lego Racers in a way, and I loved Lego Racers. However, there's one thing that I do notice, and that's that these vehicles seem to be micro models. And if you don't know what micro models are, basically they're models that are on a smaller scale than the one that uses the Lego minifigures as their standard. So they're not designed to fit with minifigures. They're just sort of like an impressionist art sort of thing that approximates something from a wider perspective. So that's what a lot of the vehicles seem to be, and it's, for example, the Batmobile. You can see, if you look at the starter pack, it doesn't look designed to fit Batman. It's a micro model. And a disclosure, I'm not a big fan of micro models. What can I say? I like the minifigures as the standard for things. But even beyond that, well, you know what, no. I wouldn't turn down the bit with the vehicles, even if they're micro models, because presumably they're gonna work somehow for the figures. I just don't know how. So, what I have to wonder is, are they gonna let you build stuff, build the vehicles, scan them? Do the bricks even come apart, or are they crinkled together? Can you rearrange the bricks the vehicles are made of to create new vehicles? Will that have any effect on the way they function? If I had to guess, no. And I say no because, again, I've seen Traveler's Tales go for over a decade not having any real creative building in their Lego games. So, my guess is these things, along with the minifigures, just come already assembled. You can't rearrange them into new vehicles. They're just the standard. And that just rubs in to me how much Traveler's Tales doesn't get it, or even if they get it, they just ignore it. So, no longer are we having virtual Legos that you can't design creative stuff with. Now we have physical Legos you can't actually be creative with. So, what else? Okay, looking Google articles, apparently Portal's franchise, the Portal franchise is planned along with Scooby-Doo. Okay, they really are getting kind of zany. And that's the thing. This is amusing. I mean, despite everything, it's amusing. I like the idea of combining stuff and seeing the chaos that ensues. It's just, why Lego? I mean, that's my complaint with all of this. I don't mind Star Wars games where you don't build stuff. I don't mind Harry Potter games where you don't build stuff. I don't mind Batman games where you don't build stuff. But if you mark it as a Lego game, you should build stuff. And I'm not anti-Lego licensed games or anything like that. But in the game realm, they really have, effectively been used to endorse stuff that wouldn't fly, I think, if it was just Lego without a license. Case in point, remember Lego Universe? That was one of those games where it ran on Traveler Tales' usual engine. You didn't ever build anything creatively that had a function. You could build stuff that didn't on your own land, but it was glitchy. And it tanked, and I'm assuming it tanked because it did not have a license there to endorse it. So... I don't know what else I can say, except... Oh yeah, I know one other thing I can say. So, this game does seem to have some creation element. So that's maybe a step in the right direction. It would have been more step in the right direction if that was seen as something you were doing with Lego. Gee. I'm slapping myself to get myself sober. It would have been seen more as a step in the right direction if the creative aspect worked like Lego. But based on what I've seen, a lot of the terrain doesn't even look built of Lego, so I'm guessing that instead of stacking stuff vertically on studs, it'll be more connect panels horizontally, and then just hover them in, that sort of stuff. So, is it, once again, is it fun? Sure. Is it funny? Definitely. It's definitely going to be funny to see stuff like Batman punching out the Wicked Witch of the West. Is it Lego? Honestly, I can't say it is. It's not what draws me to Lego. And, once again, I think this sort of thing is living on borrowed time. I'm not exactly praying for it to die sooner. At the same time, I can't say I'm dead set on buying it. Honestly, if it's gonna be that I have to spend a lot of money on a Lego product, I'd rather spend money on one that I can actually create things with, even if it isn't a game. Now that might change depending on the sort of stuff that's in this game. I'm just saying Traveler's Tales does not have a very good track record. If they're riding solely on the franchises they adapt, then my guess is the adaptations aren't gonna be that good anyway. But I mean, wait and see, you know. I'm assuming my opinion isn't gonna change anyone else who's able to enjoy the Traveler's Tales Lego games, despite them not really being Lego games in anything but name, and appearance, I guess. So, my opinion's not gonna change anything on that, but maybe more people would be inclined to agree with me in terms of whether they like the Toys to Life genre and whether they think it's gonna last. And again, I don't. I think with programs like Gary's Mod and Miku Miku Dance, like open source creative programs, the ones that have the DRM are not gonna last. And I mean, it's not like this is going to wreck the economy either. Gary's Mod is a for-profit program. It makes Steam money to buy it. But once you buy it, you can do whatever you want. So, I mean, it's going to be the people that offer that sort of leeway that end up making the most profits. And, Traveler's Tales, cash in while you can, I guess. but I won't miss you where you're gonna. So I guess I lied. I don't pray for the early demise of Toys to Life games. I do wish Traveler's Tales would get the fuck out of LEGO, because they've basically ruined the chances of having another game like LEGO Racers, so long as they're squatting all over the license. So leave comments if you agree, disagree. I'm pretty sure a lot of you disagree. It would be nice to hear people who do agree, but whatever. Leave comments. Alright, bye.